The name of Jeffrey Epstein haunts everyone with morality. The man who is still making headlines after being dead for several years. Recently, the unsealed documents revealed the name of Prince Andrew, and the Prince of Wales is not very happy about this. Get ready as we dive into the details of these papers and the royal family. Let's begin, shall we? Firstly, we must talk about who's Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was an American serial sex trafficker, pedophile, and financier. Through his successful financial career, Epstein became a multi-millionaire and developed a social circle that included extremely wealthy individuals, prominent politicians, and even royalty. He was eventually accused of running a vast human trafficking operation in which he and co-conspirators procured women and girls for sex with himself and his elite associates. Epstein invited celebrities, political top-notch, and academics to his private island and luxury homes. He offered celebrities rides on his private jet. He and his girlfriend, the socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, hung out with princes and supermodels. Maxwell was accused by multiple women of helping Epstein recruit underage victims. She was later prosecuted and is serving a 20-year prison sentence. On July 24, 2019, Epstein was reportedly found injured in his cell. Several weeks later, on August 10th, he was found dead by apparent suicide, per the New York Times, and his death is being investigated by the FBI. On Wednesday, October 30th, a forensic pathologist working for Jeffrey Epstein's brother Mark announced he believed that Epstein did not die by suicide. Dr. Michael Baden said on the morning TV show Fox and Friends that Mr. Epstein experienced a number of injuries that are extremely unusual in suicidal hangings and could occur much more commonly in homicidal strangulation.
And you get maroon discoloration in the front and back of the legs.
Turns purple.
Turns maroonish purple.
Okay.
Yes, maroonish purple.
The city's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, disputed Dr. Baden's claim, according to the New York Times. She had previously ruled his death a suicide. Although his death was officially ruled a suicide, the circumstances surrounding it have been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. Moving on, Prince and problem. Prince Andrew and Jeffrey met in 1999, and the extent of their relationship is somewhat unclear. But the two men were spotted walking together in Central Park in late 2010. At that point, Epstein was already a convicted sex offender. In the months following Epstein's death, Prince Andrew spoke out against him and his crimes in statements from Buckingham Palace.
Much time with him. I suppose I saw him once or twice a year, perhaps maybe maximum of 3 times a year. And quite often, if I was in the United States and doing things, and if he wasn't there, he would say, well, why don't you come and use my houses? So I said, that's very kind, thank you very much indeed.
One reads in full. The Duke of York has been appalled by the recent reports of Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes. His Royal Highness deplores the exploitation of any human being, and the suggestion he would condone, participate in, or encourage any such behavior is abhorrent. In November 2019, Prince Andrew also spoke about his relationship with Epstein with Newsnight, a conversation which journalist Emily Maitlis described as a no-holds-barred interview. They discussed how Prince Andrew first met Epstein, through Ghislaine Maxwell, and spoke about the times the royals stayed at Epstein's various properties. Prince Andrew also denied allegations that he had sex with one of Epstein's alleged victims, Virginia Giuffre, multiple times. I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady, none whatsoever, Prince Andrew said. Additionally, Prince Andrew admitted that it was wrong to visit Epstein in New York City in 2010. But during that conversation, the Duke of York said he did not regret his friendship with Epstein, and he did not explicitly express sympathy for his former friend's victims. Following enormous public criticism after the interview, Prince Andrew announced he was stepping back from his duties for the foreseeable future. I have asked Her Majesty if I may step back from public duties for the foreseeable future, and she has given her permission, he wrote in a statement. I continue to unequivocally regret my ill-judged association with Jeffrey Epstein. His suicide has left many unanswered questions, particularly for his victims, and I deeply sympathize with everyone who has been affected and wants some form of closure. He also said he would be willing to speak with law enforcement. Giuffre later sat down for a TV interview of her own, in which she called Prince Andrew's responses to her allegations BS.
A real masseuse, and you'll get to see the world, and you'll get paid $200 per massage, and no alarm bells went off.
The people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses, like his arm was elongated, or the photo was doctored, or he came to New York to break up with Jeffrey Epstein, she said. I mean, come on. I'm calling BS on this because that's what it is. He knows what happened. I know what happened, and there's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me. Now, Prince William feels Prince Andrew's links to the late Jeffrey Epstein will haunt the royal family, according to an insider. The Duke of York was recently named in released court documents, including flight logs to Epstein's private island, and allegations that Epstein forced a teenage girl to have sex with the prince multiple times. The files relate to a 2015 defamation case brought by Virginia Jeffrey against Epstein's close associate, jailed British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell. Prince Andrew has always strenuously denied Miss Jeffrey's claims. The Duke of York settled a claim by Miss Jeffrey for an undisclosed sum in 2022 without admitting any wrongdoing. According to a source, the Prince of Wales feels that Andrew's link to Epstein will haunt the royal family. The source told the Mirror, William was very clear that in his view, Andrew cannot be trusted. There are investigations and revelations emerging in the cases brought by Epstein's victims. This will haunt Andrew and the family forever. In William's view, Andrew should have no role with the family at all. However, King Charles will not exile his brother following the latest revelations, according to an insider. They said, Charles promised his late mother he would not abandon Andrew once she was gone, and that remains the situation unless, of course, he finds himself engaged in a criminal matter. Andrew's daughter, Princess Beatrice, visited him after being named in the newly released court documents. The Princess of York was pictured driving herself through the gates of the Royal Lodge. Beatrice appeared to be in good spirits as she was snapped smiling upon arriving at Andrew's Windsor home. Moving on about the settlement in 2022, it was more than just the money. Previous settlement, the Duke of York was accused of sexual abuse in a civil case in the U.S. In court documents, Virginia Jeffrey says she was the victim of sex trafficking and abuse by Jeffrey Epstein from the age of 16. Part of her abuse involved being lent out to other powerful men, including Prince Andrew, she alleges. Ms. Jeffrey says the Duke sexually assaulted her on 3 occasions when she was under the age of 18. In January 2022, Queen Elizabeth made an unusual statement, stripping her son Prince Andrew of his royal patronages and banning him from using the HRH title. Andrew had been under scrutiny for his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein for years and had even stepped down from his official royal duties in 2019. But an unprecedented civil suit filed by Epstein victim Virginia Jeffrey meant that a royal might have to be a part of a sexual assault case in the United States. On the 15th of February, a letter filed to the U.S. District Court said the Duke and Ms. Jeffrey had reached an out-of-court settlement. It said the Duke, who makes no admission of liability, would pay an undisclosed sum to Ms. Jeffrey. Now let's talk about other names. As per the documents, former U.S. President Bill Clinton flew several times on Epstein's private jet. Epstein's victim, Johanna Schoberg, testified in her deposition that, while she never met Clinton, Epstein once remarked to her that Clinton likes them young. Clinton has not been accused of wrongdoing, though, by any of Epstein's victims. Additionally, the court document briefly mentions the name of former U.S. President Donald Trump, who socialized with Epstein but is not accused of misconduct. The new records include a single reference to the late theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking. His name appears, misspelled, in an email Epstein sent proposing a reward be paid to anyone who could debunk a baseless claim that Hawking had participated in an underage orgy. American billionaire hedge fund manager Glenn Russell Dubin's name has also appeared in 100-page documents related to Epstein and Maxwell's sex racket. Jeffrey said in a deposition that Maxwell told me to go to Glenn Dubin and give him a massage, which means sex. Dubin has said he has flight records and other evidence proving Jeffrey's allegations against him are false. Jeffrey also claimed she was pressured to have sex with former U.S. Ambassador and New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. Richardson, who died last year, previously said that Jeffrey's claims were fabricated. Former Epstein attorney and retired Harvard University law professor Alan Dershowitz's name was also found in the court recording. Jeffrey had long accused Dershowitz of sexually abusing her a half-dozen times in Florida, New York, New Mexico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. But Jeffrey withdrew her claim against Dershowitz in 2022, saying she may have made a mistake in identifying him as one of the men she had sex with at the request of Epstein or Maxwell. Notably, Sjoberg spoke about Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Blanchett, Bruce Willis, and Cameron Diaz during her deposition, but none of them are accused of wrongdoing. And that's it for this video. Please click the like and subscribe buttons down below if you found it interesting. To make sure you don't miss any uploads, tap the bell icon. Share the video and provide all of your feedback in the comments section. See you in the next one.